today we have a nice chill video. Hello everyone, welcome back to the channel. I'm so glad to have you here. I had a different plan for this video that we're gonna go ahead and push back a week, but I started a new job. She's also happy about it. I was gonna do something a little more long form because I started a new job and it kind of got really chaotic. I decided to not do that. Today, we are just gonna do a catch up my reading journal with me. I have not, at least since I started my job, I don't think I've filled this out at all. So today we are just gonna take the time to go ahead and do that. We'll do some nice little footage. I think this will be a shorter term video, but I'll go ahead and tell you about my setup and like what I do for my very efficient, not so cutesy reading journal. Motivating myself through making content. Okay. Gotta love that. So yeah, first let me show you around my little reading journal. So what I think I'm gonna do is I don't have an overhead camera set up. I'll film on my phone as needed. We are gonna go over what my reading journal looks like. It looks like the last time that I filled it out, I had just finished Kindred, which I finished on the 6th of this month. So when I say we have a lot of catching up to do, we have a lot of catching up to do. I'm not gonna review necessarily all of the books that I read, but you know, we'll fill it out. I'll show you what it looks like. But let's start with my opening page for the beginning of every month. My opening page, which I'll try and put a picture up right there. My opening page is always a calendar, and then I track my reading on it, like how long it took me to read each book. I am a pretty analytical person. I'm going to take a picture of February so you guys can see what a completed one looks like. But yeah, I am a pretty analytical person. I enjoy knowing what everything looks like. I like knowing my own stats. I like knowing all of these things. So yeah, I always put the things I always track on the first page of the month. I track all the books I read and number them. And then I use my calendar and their numbers and kind of track, here's how long it took me to read this, or here's how long it took me to read this, or did I take any breaks in between? It makes, if I don't stay up to date with it, it gets very tedious, which I'm hoping to show you guys today. I gotta catch up to that, but it's got a whole list of the books I read this month, and then it's got the calendar, and then it's got my goal books. So I've talked about in other videos how I'm trying to read a classic, a translated work, and a nonfiction book every month. So I just have like a little baby section in the corner that tracks what are these reads this month. So first things first, we're gonna fill out this page and you'll get to see kind of my thought process. First thing I do when I start a month is I get, obviously I build that calendar, I do all of those things, and then I choose to, getting real tired of you, and then I choose 2 different colors that I'm gonna do for the month. So this month I chose yellow from this. Oh, here's my little marker packs. Almost all of my supplies are from Archer and Olive. I got this square notebook that they offer. It's got a cute little baby motel on it. I don't know if you guys can see that. That's right there. I saw it on someone else's video and I was like, oh, that is too cute. I have to get it. I got some special deal where I was able to get like a bunch of journals. So I have like this cute little pocket-sized journal with like a little RV on it. I don't know what to do with it. So if you guys have any ideas for like what could be a good use of a little baby pocket journal, and it's not really a pocket journal, I would consider it more of a purse journal, but it's narrow, please let me know. I'm not a huge journaling person. This reading journal is actually the very first time I've even tried to do something like this. But yeah, so I just use these dual tone markers. I don't know if that's gonna focus. I got them from Books A Million, which is my favorite place. And I just pick out 2 colors for each month. So we've got a yellow and a red this month, and I use those as kind of an accent color. I have a little key laid out, but the big thing that we are going to do is I track all of my reading. This is not sponsored. Bookly, if you would love to sponsor me, I would really, really appreciate that. But I use the app Bookly, and they do a lot of like goal tracking and stats, and I've mentioned these in some of my other videos. This might be too light for it to pick up. It definitely is. But it tracks all of my stats for the month, both my timing stats and how much I read. So I go on there and I check how much I have read. But yeah, so another thing I do that I completely forgot to mention, the first thing we are actually going to do is I have a time tracker at the beginning of my reading journal. So this is basically where I have a little color code up here, and it like measures how much I've read. So in physical books, I measured it in pages, and in audiobooks, I measured it in time. But yeah, I just put these little designs right here. So there's, let's see if you'll focus. Ooh, okay. Put these little designs here. The circles mean audiobook, and just the squares mean reading. So the days I have both, I can fill them both out. But yeah, that's the first thing we're gonna do is check up on all the colors and catch up. The last day I put anything in on this page was the 3rd. But my reading app keeps track of everything from the entire month. So I'm gonna go back and check how much time I read and like what books I was reading. So we will go ahead and do that first. Exposing myself for what day I filmed this, but you know, whatever. Anyway, here's the finished product of the beginning page. But yeah, so I've got the read key on there and everything like that. So that is fully up to date, which I am glad about, thank goodness. So we are going to go back to the March page, and this is where things kind of get a little chaotic, but this is where I have to write down all of the books I've read in order of like when I started reading them. I have to write down everything that I've like started reading and stuff like that, and then put it on the calendar. So that is what we're going to do next, and then I'll break down how I do my ratings pages. calendar, so that was the start of the page of March. So I kind of did a before and after, so I already showed you what the page is like supposed to look like kind of at its start, but here's what it looked like when I was finished. So I spent a lot of time tracking like what books did I read when. I obviously showed a time lapse of that so you guys can kind of see where I was tracking. So that was the first part I did, and then I went ahead and filmed how I review some of the books. So I only filmed one because I like to actually take time to like marinate on it, but originally what I was doing like last month is I was leaving a lot of space for reviews. So this is a page from my February. I was leaving a lot of space for reviews, and that wasn't really what I ended up needing. At the beginning of the year I had like a lot to write about each book, but I only really have a few sentences to write about. So this month for March I kind of segmented it down because I wanted to get 3 reviews on each page instead of 1, so that I could have more space to keep track of everything, and I wouldn't have to use up so much space that I wasn't going to use anyway. So the starting point of that is right here, and then here is what I did with this page. I am definitely going to have to fill up several more pages to catch up with myself, but I think I'm going to do that this afternoon off camera. But yeah, so that was just a nice little like catch up with me, see how I fill out my own reading journal. If you guys have any questions, feel free to comment below. I am in the comments of my videos a lot, and I would be happy to answer them. Let me know if you have a reading journal. Also, let me know what I should do with my little baby journal. Like, I need something interesting to do. It was so lovely to see you. Thank you for coming and hanging out with me on this very laid back video today. And I will see you all later. If it's getting warmer where you are, go out and enjoy the sunshine, go read a book, and go visit your local library. All right, I will see you all later. Goodbye.